on the ground, what I saw was I did see debris. I saw down power lines, damaged infrastructure, but I also saw people that were incredibly resilient. They're boating in things. They're just, you know, there was no way they were going to be forced to leave this island. This is their home, and so they're really, I think, making use of what they have very effectively. This is going to open up so much. It's going to be so much better. But I have spoken with some of the Kevin Guthrie, also some of the utilities, and just said, you know, we've already airdropped some people on here. Now that this bridge is going, they can start getting some of those power trucks, because you have some areas where you have significant down lines. So we got to work to get that restored. I know they're going to be able to bring more fuel on the island now that you have this bridge, which is great. I know people are running their generators and doing all that, but working on the structural fixes for the electric, I think, is very, very important. So we're going to be able to do that. But I think we have a chance to bounce back a lot quicker than people think. I think there's a great spirit on the island, and I think folks, you know, they just wanted to be able to stay there and be able to go about their lives like they will. You obviously can't do that effectively without this bridge. So we have it, and we're proud to be able to say, they told me, you know, we think we'll do it by Saturday, which would have been great too, but they were just plowing ahead, and they're like, hey, maybe we'll have it done by Thursday, and now it's like, well, it looks like Wednesday afternoon. So hats off, really good work. And you know, usually government will promise and under-deliver. Well, here's an over-delivering, getting it done ahead of schedule.
Right.
I was also just on Sanibel on the ground for the first time that I've had an opportunity. Obviously, you know, we've been using search and rescue, and I did not want to detract from that. So they're now at a point they've been able to go over the island. So I went, and again, looking at it from the sky, even at close range, you obviously saw damage, don't get me wrong, but to be on the ground there, there's more debris, I think, on Sanibel than any place I've seen thus far in terms of what we've been able to do. Of course, there's a lot of vegetation there generally, so you understand why that would be something that would be the case. Some of the structures, some of these nice homes could withstand, but some of the older ones, there's really, really significant damage. I saw more damage to the power infrastructure on Sanibel than anywhere that I've seen, and maybe even more than Fort Myers Beach. I saw concrete utility poles snapped in half. I saw a lot of places where the lines were totally down. So that's going to require rebuilding that power infrastructure, and the debris removal effort is going to be really, really massive. So I had the mayor there, you know, I told her, I was like, you know, let us know what you need, because but I think we need to get a lot of people on that island who can help with power and help with debris removal, and we need to do that before the causeway is fixed. We do now have has the contract been awarded?
It's been executed.
Okay, so we done on an emergency basis. They did a procurement for a contract to do like we did here at the Sanibel Causeway. Now that's a little bit more difficult fix because the damage was in multiple locations. Nevertheless, they feel confident that this will be done in October, they think?
By the end of the month.
By the end of the month. So we want to work forward on that. We want to be able to connect. It's important, but while that is happening, we don't want to not continue doing stuff. So I've told Kevin Guthrie, I've told these guys, you know, we want to barge people over, whatever we need to do to get more workers. Now, we got National Guard first responders. They're doing a really good job. They're basically camped out over there, and they'll continue to do it. But to make sure that we have folks working on these power lines, working on, I mean, Sanibel is long. I mean, people don't appreciate it until you're actually there. And it's like one down line after another. I mean, it was really incredible to see up close, and the amount of debris, just an incredible amount of debris. This is the first place I was on the ground for that reminded me of Hurricane Michael in terms of just the enormous amount of debris. Well, we've got to get that debris cleaned up. So that's going to be a major effort. We're obviously going to be here to support that 100% because we know how important it is. But I'm just happy we're able to get this done. I definitely understood where people were coming from, and we wanted to make sure that they were not isolated or forced to even have to leave the island that they love. And so later today will be great. You know, this is new. This is temporary. And I know the county's going to have people out here to kind of make sure, but just go easy on this thing. You know, this is not like 60 miles an hour because they had to do this very quickly. But I think it's an impressive effort. Okay, Kevin Guthrie and then Jared Perdue.
I want to thank the governor for his steadfast leadership. You know, he's publicly said that I don't get any sleep until I get the power, fuel, communications restoration, bridges in conjunction with Jared done. But he's also calling me at 11 o'clock at night, first thing in the morning. This guy is not sleeping either. So he is here for all of the residents of Florida, especially those in this hardest impacted area. So again, Governor, thank you very much for what you're doing. I want to, you know, things like one of the titles that I get inside of this disaster is something called the State Coordinating Officer. So my job is to coordinate amongst state agencies to make sure that we have an all of Florida government approach and response. I've been doing this a while now at the state, about 4.5 years. I could tell you, in my experience over the last four years or so, there has not been a secretary, agency head group of individuals that have worked better together than in this disaster. I mean, that is unprecedented in my time in state government. I want to thank Jared. I mean, this guy's a rock star. He got out here when the governor gave him direction to come out here. He came out here. His chief of staff, Lita's around here somewhere directing traffic. I mean, you know, so it's been everybody from the very top all the way down, getting stuff done. This guy right here, Dane Eagle. He's working so hard to get your economic development back up and running. Yep. Jimmy Petronas over there somewhere. I hear him. I didn't see him. Okay. Jimmy Petronas and his urban search and rescue teams, they are here. And I thought I saw Mark Glass, Commissioner of FDLE. FDLE's response here. Hundreds and hundreds of state law enforcement officers, if not thousands, of state law enforcement officers here, and many, many others. So again, thank you, secretaries. Thank you, agency heads. Again, thank you, Governor. Let's get to the stats. More than 45,000, I'm sorry, not 45,000, more than 4,500 mission requests have been put in. Over 3,700 have been processed or completed. More than 34 million bottles of water have been distributed statewide. More than 9 million meals ready to eat, or MREs, shelf-stable meals, have been distributed statewide. More than 500 generators have been deployed. More than 500, with a couple of hundred more on the way. We want to take a moment just to say generator safety again. We have been very fortunate so far that the messaging has been heard, Governor, and we haven't, to my knowledge, Commissioner Glass, had a whole lot of carbon monoxide poisoning deaths. So that is good. That is very good. But continue to do that. Don't run generators underneath an open window. Do not run generators in a garage. We do not want that. Keep it far away from your house. Keep it elevated out of the water. Working with our contractor on the water for Lee County, I am happy to report that all water treatment plants that actually push water into distribution, all 13 are actually pushing water. All of them. Again, ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule. Now, here's what's happening. You may turn on your faucet and it may not be the right PSI to come out of there. We've got anywhere from about 30 PSI to about 60 PSI in the system. That is by design because we don't want to blow pipes down what we call downrange, down to the homeowner. Just like electrical systems, you have big transformers and substations that feed into feeder lines that feed into residential lines. Same thing happens here. We don't want to pressurize the system to the point we cause more damage. So we're going to be bringing that back online, and start fixing distribution. That's where it goes to the home. We're going to fix that water line next. Our vendor, again, ahead of schedule in that area. I talked to several people this morning, Lee County Administration, Fort Myers Administration, Secretary Hamilton, who is not here, but let me tell you, he is deep in the weeds in the fight on DEP water quality issues, environmental issues, boats and things of that nature. He and his entire team are over the Lee County EOC right now, getting stuff done there. Talked with FEMA. Talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I have talked to every debris removal company that is involved in this incident. All debris removal companies have people in the field today removing debris. That is happening. including the islands. We are now on the islands as of yesterday, starting to remove debris in all areas. So I want to thank those debris vendors there. I talked to FEMA administrator yesterday. I have a standing call with them that happens every day. She encouraged her people to be proactive, get bureaucracy out of the way, get politics out of the way, and be proactive. I'm happy to report that because of her proactivity with her team, they approved 60 days, our original request for Cat A and Cat B at 100%. We're still probably going to ask for additional, but proactively they did that on their own without a letter. So we are now covered at 60 days, Category A, Category B expenses, which is debris removal, emergency protective measures for 60 days. So that we certainly appreciate FEMA's proactivity on that. I talked to the Ag Commissioner this morning. Ag losses are significant. She's reported that up through her, what we call emergency coordinating officer, Colonel Wiggins, and we're going to continue to work with Colonel Wiggins on that. But ag losses are significant. We're getting numbers on those. We'll hope to provide you those in the coming days. More than 200,000 IA, individual assistance registrations, have been done to date. More tens of millions, approximately $70 million, has been paid out by FEMA already. Again, people are being proactive, and we certainly appreciate that. I'll finish this out with how to apply for individual assistance to include FEMA's Blue Roof system. Homeowners and renters with insurance are still encouraged to apply for individual assistance. They can do one of the following: go to a disaster recovery center, go to a mobile registration intake center, which would be more like a bus, go to disasterassistance.gov. That's disasterassistance.gov. They can download the FEMA app. But if you're in any one of those situations where you just cannot do it, if you can at least get to a phone with coverage, you can call 1-800-621-3362. Again, that's 1-800-621-3362. FEMA anticipates that they may receive as many as 1 million registrations for this disaster. Please be patient. The lines may be loaded, they may ring busy. Continue to try to get through. Last, I'll end up with the Blue Roof system. The U.S. Army Corps' Blue Roof system has been turned on for multiple counties. You can go to our website. I'll also, at a future press conference, try to have those counties by list, but certainly here in Lee County and Charlotte County, I know for a fact the Blue Roof system has been turned on. That phone number is 1-888-BLUE. I'm sorry, I'm going to mess that up again. You would think it'd be Blue Roof, but it's not. 1-888-ROOF-BLUE. Again, that's 1-888-ROOF-BLUE. So please call that number, and you can register over the phone to have somebody come out from a licensed contractor. No money to you. Again, as CFO Petronas said yesterday, the U.S. Army Corps will have a contractor put that on your roof for free. Nobody's going to ask for money. You just call that 1-888 number, and you get that installed on your house. Again, open to all impacted residents inside of Lee and Charlotte counties. Governor, again, thank you for your leadership. I appreciate you.
What an incredible honor to be able to serve this community in their time of need. We were so excited when Governor DeSantis asked us to step in, and I want to just mention that the governor has shown unwavering support every step of the way in responding to this storm. He's been there with us, making the tough decisions and providing the direction to move forward and do the things that are needed. And this is actually a county road. He didn't think twice about stepping in to help Lee County. And we've partnered very closely with Lee County to get this roadway to where it's passable again. So we're very excited to be here today. Hurricane Ian obviously caused havoc on these communities. It affected so many people, requires an urgent call for expertise, supplies, and support. As soon as the governor gave us the direction to work on this facility, we mobilized our contractor, A.J. DeMoya. We mobilized our internal forces across the entire state. We have FDOT leadership here from all over the state working on this project to restore access to this community. As public servants, FDOT continues to make Florida families our focus and serve the communities every way we can. Within the first few days following the storm, cut and toss crews cleared almost 5,000 miles of state roads, and we inspected all accessible state-owned bridges throughout the state. On scene here today, you can see the amazing progress that dedicated crew members have done in a little over 50 hours, as they were determined to restore access to Pine Island as quickly as they possibly could. I'm honored FDOT has been called to help support Florida's communities in their greatest time of need. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership.
It's like a checklist for you right now. What is the biggest need, and what will you be asking President Biden for today specifically?
Well, you know, that'll probably be determined after Kevin and I talk in the car ride over there. The 60 days is important. Like Kevin said, we may need more, and that's something that the president could obviously approve. Part of it is you have 30 days from the time basically the disaster was declared, and we were fortunate the White House declared this very quickly. I don't even think it was a tropical storm yet. We declared the state of emergency on the Friday before the storm. It was a disturbance, but people knew that it could grow, so we appreciated that quick action. And so the question is you have a storm, you have bridges severed, there's a lot of debris out there, but the clock has been ticking. Well, obviously, they're not going to be able to do a lot of debris removal when they don't have consistent access. Now this will happen better here. Sanibel, we have people over, but we need a lot more people. So I think having that, just to be able to let the community know categories A and B, you know, get those reimbursements as they're doing it would be very, very helpful. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. But I also, the way we view it is like as governor, it's like, okay, we prepare for these things. There's all these different levers you pull. Local government does stuff. We do stuff. We obviously will push buttons for the feds, but we are willing to act at the state level. We are not asking that everyone do our work for us. This is a prime example of this. There was a need, so we acted. I've got a disaster fund that we created since I've been governor. I have FDOT money. I've got a massive surplus. So we're going to put that to use very quickly. And I think that's really what people want to see. You know, just get this stuff done and move forward. Sometimes the bureaucracy can paralyze this. And I will say, from local, state coordination, FEMA, there's been less bureaucracy holding us back in this one than probably anyone I've seen. One thing I think just generally that we're keeping an eye on, if you look at the power restoration, Lee County with FPL, they've got the vast majority of their customers. We now have massive numbers of linemen to help LCEC with those restorations. So you're looking at a community like Cape Coral. I saw the mayor here. You know, that's tens of thousands of households that have been without. So we want to put those linemen to use, and let's get those folks back online as quickly as possible. Great news, though, on the water, because there was damage to these water mains, and so the fact that that's flowing, they'll get the pressure where it needs to be. But that is a huge thing. I mean, honestly, if you ask me what to go without, water or you know, running water or power, I would rather have the running water because you can figure out ways to do the power, so you need to get that.
We have about a month until the election, but what will that look like here in Southwest Florida? Will we be able to do that as normal?
So the question is about the, obviously we have an election on November 7th. Or 8th, I don't remember the day, I've been too busy doing this. So yeah, obviously people are going to be able to vote. I think we still need to, I think the supervisor here is in the process of looking at all the precincts, figuring out, you know, where you may have problems, and then they will propose a solution for the state of Florida. You know, I want to keep it as normal as humanly possible. I think the more you depart, you know, it just creates problems. But we do have precedent with Hurricane Michael. That hit closer to the election, but it was also a more narrow storm. I mean, you know, you get hit in Panama City. If you were on Panama City Beach, you probably didn't have much damage at all in parts of the beach. This is just, it's a really big storm, so just a little bit different. So they'll be working with Cordbird, our Secretary of State, to figure it out. But of course, we want to have as normal election as possible. In an area like Lee, there may be needed to be accommodations. Maybe Charlotte. My sense is the other counties are probably in good shape. Okay, we're going to go meet the president here in a minute. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
I got to get in the car with the governor.